Hi, welcome to another episode of Hard Take or Big Take.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Nicholas.
And we are an education lifestyle podcast where each week we take a topic and then we discuss it. And at the end of the podcast, we decide whether or not the topic is interesting, which is
Hard Take,
or frustrating, which is
Big Take.
Okay, so for today's topic, this is going to be a very spicy one, okay? So I don't know
Very,
whether or
very
not we will
spicy.
be saying anything incriminating in this particular podcast.
In terms of spiciness, do you think it's like a mala, 小辣, 中辣, or 大辣level of
Well,
spicy?
I think to date,
To date.
if let's say we were to count all the level of spiciness, right? To this one is the 大辣.
大辣,
But I don't know if beyond today, right, we'll go even more lah.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Okay. So basically, recently on social media, we noticed that there was a primary school kid who came across this school teacher's TikTok account, and this particular school teacher was in quite provocative clothing and doing provocative dances. Okay, and some of it you see, like with her colleagues as well. So I think there was quite a large amount of debate whether or not it is appropriate for the school teacher to do this in her free time. I think there are both sides of the argument. There's one argument that says that, this school teacher, she's also a human, and basically she should be entitled to do whatever she wants in her free time. There's another argument that says that, this lady is a public figure. She is a school teacher. She should be more conservative in her conduct, and she shouldn't even be doing this in the first place. So, Nicholas, what do you think?
I think prior to launching into my sentiments and comments for this, I think maybe we have to establish that we are not MOE teachers. And I think that's a very important parameter to establish. Because I think that even you, yourself, and myself, we do have our own personal interests outside of our tuition life.
Yes.
So maybe we take it slow. We take it slow first, all right, before we get into the nitty gritty and the pain point of today's conversation. So do you have personally any personal interest outside of your tuition life?
I mean, of course, I like to play games. I like to build Gundam models. But I feel that these hobbies maybe they're a little bit nerdy.
Okay.
But I don't think that they're inappropriate.
Is there any hobby that infringes on being inappropriate and you put it out on a social platform that the general public can get access to? Whether are they our students or they're not our students or they're just the general public? Is there anything you...
I do not think so. Okay, maybe I have one, which is long time ago. Long time ago. So I used to be my university's jazz band.
Okay.
So I think there are videos of me floating around in the jazz band.
Okay.
And as part of the jazz band.
Like you're performing.
Yeah, I'm performing.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I think those videos are very, very old already, and people have most likely forgotten about them lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Myself, I like to draw.
Okay.
Right? So I will post my sketches on my social media.
Okay.
Wholesome lah. I mean, the genre is more on Pokemon.
Yes.
Pokemon. I'll draw Pokemon characters lah.
Okay.
All right. And of recent, I have sometimes foray into going to TikTok to sell Pokemon cards. All right, but that is like a private side of my life, which is very on and off. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't do it. But I think all this persona of ours are very private domain per se. Like you can't see it unless I allowed you to see it.
Yes.
So the angle I'm trying to strike over here is that for this particular teacher, and I think that this is a very slippery stroke to discuss about, because I think there's a lot of angles about, your morality. There's also that of your personal time and all. I think number one, whatever you're doing, whether is it provocative dance, or whether are you doing general shout out for anything, you should privatize your account if you are someone that are discharging a moral obligation like teaching. I feel that. All right, so I will then have to filter my followers. If someone were to follow my account, I must do my due diligence to know whether is this person, how is it related to me? Is it my peers? Is it my student? Is it my ex-student? Or heck, even my ex-student parents that want to join me? I think that there's a certain degree of due diligence to be done over there. But what about yourself? Do you think it's more of like it's a red button? No, you cannot do. Even if you privatize the account, you cannot do this kind of thing.
Of course not, right? Because each one of us, we need our own outlets to de-stress, and sometimes it may or may not be appropriate to different audiences. So for myself, right, I don't know if you are aware, like in a personal sort of capacity, I'm not a very prim and proper person. I'm actually
Wow, this damn
yeah,
juicy.
I'm not a
Okay.
very prim and proper person. I'm very like when I talk to people, when I talk to my friends, I'm actually like quite rough speaking.
Okay, okay.
So and my humor at times also can get quite dark. So in my social media, I have two different social media accounts.
Okay.
I have a private one and a public one.
Public one. Yep.
Yeah. So the public one, of course, I'll post more like wholesome stuff.
You
and
curate
things
lah,
which are,
you
yes,
curate.
and things which are generally like fine for people to know. And of course, the private one is mainly for my friends, my family. Sometimes even within my private social media account, I will have a close friends list.
Okay.
So I don't share everything to even amongst the space of my personal friends.
Okay.
Right?
I think I haven't been getting update from his social, so I think I'm not in the close friends list. But okay, we'll get to that.
You
eventually.
are in the close friends
I'm in the
list.
close friends. Okay,
Yeah,
so you're not frequent. You're not frequent in
Yes.
updating. So I think compartmentalization seems to be the theme over here. You have a very privatized account, a different persona, but the thing here is, kids, whether they are young now, whether they are like secondary or JC, you heard of the term internet sleuths,
Internet
SLEUTH.
sleuth. Oh yeah.
So they're very detective work.
Yes.
Yeah, so-
My students can find my private account. Right?
And-
I don't know how. I try my best to hide it. My profile picture is not me, like it's a gorilla.
And they can find it.
Yeah,
So-
and they can find it. Now everybody
So with
even
the,
more can
with
find
the
already.
understanding that generally the public perception of the use of technology, they are smarter and faster
Yeah.
in filtering out and fishing out things that they want to find out from you, then should we not even compartmentalize and have this privatized account that basically just go underground? You don't even like do any...
I think it depends on your objectives, right, for social media. So if your objective is really to let your friends give an update to all your personal friends, I think this is fine. But if your objective, so my public social media account is mainly for, I think it serves a marketing purpose as well. Okay, it serves as a means of reaching out to my current students, right? So I think it also serves as a platform for students to get a glimpse into my life, right? And hopefully break the ice a little bit.
Okay.
So I think if, let's say, you want to achieve this specific outcome, then sure, have a public account. But if really you want to you don't want to put your whole life out there, then please keep your entire life like all your accounts private.
But with regards to this particular posting of the primary school teacher dancing provocatively, the parents went on to Facebook, I suppose, and spoke out. Right, so quote unquote, she mentioned that I said she had a private life. Right, that's the parents asking. But I am judging her silently. All right, for the lack of better words, the choice of whatever she's doing. I know that you have a private and social life, but as a supposed role model for young students who supposedly look up to you. So this was her general speech in the passage, but in the comment section, there was actually two very large camps of people.
Yeah.
Now one of them was with pitchfork and the torch saying that, crusade, burn her down, should not do this kind of thing,
Yeah.
bad. But the other one is like, hello, she's human. She has her
she
own
needs her own
avenue.
right?
Yeah, but so in this case over here, and I thought long and hard before entering into today's episode, everyone is getting more woke. So you've been in a school setting before,
Yes.
and I'm sure that in the ministry there is a certain degree of code of conduct that you have to adhere to. Is there any excerpt you can tell us about the general code of conduct that is being taught to teachers?
Okay. So of course, when you are a guy,
A gentleman, all right?
a gentleman, so I think the most basic is going to be collared shirt.
Okay.
Dress professionally, smart casual, collared shirt as well as belt, proper shoes. All right. If you're a girl, I don't remember specifically whether or not there was any code of conduct with regards to the earrings, but I do know that people tell me that they try to wear like studs, it's as opposed to dangly sort of earrings.
Alright.
Because dangly earrings will tend to distract. the students. But of course, it was explicitly said like nothing too low in the front or in the back if you're a lady.
Okay.
Right? And the skirt as well, nothing too short either.
Does it
So
have
I
to
think
be-
a certain number of finger lengths above the knee
Okay.
is acceptable, but beyond that already, then it's not acceptable.
alright.
Alright. So I think that was the general practice. Then of course, hair. I think they only allowed natural colors, being brown or I think the dark orangish sort of color. I think still can
That's natural. Like
accept-
natural looking.
natural looking. But if let's say you want to dye your hair pink or blue or green, definitely that's a strict no-no.
Okay.
Right?
What about out of school code of conduct? Like, does it have anything that governs what they can and
I think
cannot
at the time when I was there, social media was still not exactly in its infancy, but not where it was now. I think now, because there's so many more social media outlets, right? I think back then Instagram and Facebook was the most popular. So the school did advise us to be careful of what you post and what you put public.
But there wasn't.
But there wasn't. I don't think there was a proper and strict guideline of what you can post and what you cannot post.
So the team behind the podcast, I think the members went to dig a bit lah. All right.
Yeah.
So we managed to find a certain school code of conduct. I mean the relevancy of the school where it came from, it does not matter. All right. In this case here, code of conduct, it mentioned that the fact that their online postings are not only their personal digital footprint, but also part of their footprint as staff of the school. So right now, what can be interpreted in this, the explicit meaning is that whatever you're posting, it does have an implication on your role in the school. And be it that personally you advocate for a certain cause, but by posting on social media, you are inevitably also suggesting that the school is advocating such a cause as well. All right, I continue on. As such, staff are personally responsible for the content they publish online and will be held liable if the content infringes the laws governing social media / professional code of conduct. So they went on to mention that the staff must ensure that the online content associated with them is consistent with the role that they play in school. And I think that this itself, if you are an adult, you don't even need to read between the lines. You do know that you are really, really very much responsible for what is your image you're trying to portray outside of school. So I think one of the best thing that was actually mentioned over here is this portion. They say that if it is anything that's inappropriate to put up a certain photograph on the wall, I think over here the wall figuratively will be the school's wall or the teacher's home's wall. All right, it will be inappropriate to put it up online. So if you don't even have the decency to want to put it on your school's wall or on your house wall, then no, you cannot put it online. That is like a very minimal filter.
Yeah.
What do you sense from this guideline?
I feel that this is still quite common sense, right? Like again, things that you wouldn't do in a physical sort of space, please don't do in a digital space. I think the trouble with it's very easy to put things in a digital space, and it's also very easy to it's also very easy for things in the digital space to propagate, right? But I feel that this code of conduct is quite a common sense one, right? And I feel that it's also appropriate of a school teacher, right? So the online behavior, and I assume that what they mean is the public online behavior should reflect the standards, honesty and respect and consideration. But again, this is for an MOE school.
Yes.
And MOE school, I feel, should be held, or MOE teachers should be held to higher standards of conduct. Because if, let's say, I personally believe that as a teacher, you should cater to the average of conduct that people expect of you, of their parents expect of you. So as a school teacher, you deal with so many students. from all different backgrounds. I think at any one point in time, a school teacher easily deals with, if let's say they have 5 classes,
That's
200 over
students,
students,
yeah.
right? Yeah, 200 over students. Then I know there are some teachers that take the whole level or multiple levels. So we are talking about even more than a few hundred students, right? And not just that, they also have the whole school that is staring at them. They might not be a direct student, right? So if let's say you have to cater to so many students, and on top of that, if let's say a particular student is under your charge, right? If let's say the student doesn't like you or feels that what you're doing is too provocative or whatever, right? They can't change teacher, you know. But as a tuition teacher, for us, I'm not giving us a green card to go ahead and then like say that and dress provocatively, do whatever we want to. But at the very least, if let's say a parent doesn't agree with how we dress or our hair color, for example, the parent is very welcome to go and leave.
It's a very transactional
Yeah, it's a
nature.
transactional thing. So you don't pay us, we don't get money, lor.
But I feel that this guideline, it deals with future potential incarceration. So if let's say I am a school teacher, or even I'm going to use this as a proxy for tuition teacher itself, this governs what I can do in the future. It educates me on what are the parameters. So I'm going to give you a few examples here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do that as a shooting off session. So I want to imagine that now I'm a tuition teacher. All right. And if you like to, you can lump me as an MO teacher. But if you like, I should be separated into 2 categories, you let me know.
Okay,
all right?
okay.
So now I am going, we'll go from Xiao La first. Then
Okay,
go to Ta La,
okay.
Xiao La to Ta La. Okay. So the Xiao La level, now I am going to endorse a product.
Yes.
Okay. So we Xiao La first. I'm going to endorse a product saying that if you use this said brand of stationery, all right, I'm going to slap my face on the advertisement, or you will always shake your OS, all the answers sure correct. You sure will get splendid marks for it. I'm going to slap my face over there. Then over there, I will write my name. Then I won't say the school, but I say that I'm an MOE registered teacher. And this is on public social media. What's your take on that?
This should be called out, right? Because I don't feel that MOE should be endorsing this.
No, but I'm a teacher.
Yeah, but I feel that this would violate the code of conduct of MOE, right? So if let's say, if I imagine if the person is putting his face there on social media, then they're probably getting some sort of kickback from it, right? I don't know whether or not the
Financial
kickback is
financial
financial or not non-financial. Maybe they gave this particular teacher 1 billion pencils to go and give to all his students.
I don't want that. I don't want that deal. But okay.
Okay.
What
So-
is like a tutor? Can Teo Weiren slap your face on this said brand of mechanical pencil?
I think for tuition teacher, it is more acceptable. But at the same time, I also have to ask myself hey, is this particular tutor like spreading misinformation around? Like if you have this particular brand of pencil, then am I going to really shade everything all 100%? So I think this goes back to what we discussed last week, which was Minister Chan Chun Sing's
you drink a certain elixir, right? Then you get
yes.
4 A's, right?
yes,
Certain
so-
green color elixir.
Yes. So this one is the code of conduct of advertising,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And I personally feel that as teachers, as educators, we should be fair and we should not spread misinformation.
Okay, good. Next level, in between Xiao La and Zhong La, okay? Xiao Zhong La, okay? You are endorsing a product that is not education related. For the sake of posterity, you are endorsing let's not talk about health. Health is a bit sensitive. You are endorsing a product like a said particular brand of food is very nutritious. Let's just say chicken fillet lah. All right, but you're doing it in your private account that you privatize. Can? But you're not going to say I'm an MO registered tutor, but your face is slapped on it. Oh, this chicken fillet, very good, very nutritious, very economical. You have a financial gain from that, but it's in a privatized account.
I feel that it's okay if, let's say, you post on your socials like, I bought this particular, what do you say?
Chicken fillet.
Chicken fillet. Okay, I bought this chicken fillet, and then after that, I want to go and let all my friends know. I think it's fine. Yeah, and let's say the particular company asks you as
To endorse.
to endorse and then just spread to all your
Yeah.
personal friends. Maybe you got 1,000
Followers,
privatized friends.
Ah.
Right? I think it's okay.
Okay.
But if you're the advertising company, obviously we want you to
Be in a public account.
be in a
right?
public account. Then once you have it in a public account, right? Then I think if you're an MOE teacher, once again, if you're an MOE teacher, then there will be some sort of conflict of interest already.
Why? It's chicken fillet. How does it affect education? Chicken fillet.
But
What? It affects the vegetarian people that you know, is it? Chicken fillet, like you endorse chicken fillet, but there's no harm in this, what?
I think there's this idea that you're double dipping lah in terms of
Okay, so
salary.
do you feel like this is on infringing moonlighting?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
What if it's just I'm endorsing product, it's delicious, it's good, versus I endorsing product, and now you use promo code teacher888, you get
It's the
8
same one.
No lah, but
It's the
first one, there's no call to action. The second one, there's a call to action.
Then that's even more incriminating.
So
right?
the first one cannot, still cannot lah.
So the first one really still cannot. Ma. If you're putting it in public space, then I really say cannot.
Okay.
Like if you're an MOE teacher. If you're a tuition teacher, again, I think tuition teacher, the standards for such conduct is a little bit more relaxed because again, we are a sort of like a privatized industry. We are not a public.
So
good.
if I splice
Yeah.
my face and replace Colonel Sanders as a KFC logo and endorse the chicken fillet,
and then you say like, Nicholas fried chicken.
can or not?
I'm okay.
Yeah, okay lah.
I'm
okay. Zong la now, okay?
Okay, so
now
now I'm scared about what's the ta la.
the tala is very tala.
Yeah.
Okay, zong la. Okay, now you are openly in your. Let's just for the sake of advertising, it should be a public account lah.
Yes.
Okay, you are doing MLM, multi-level marketing. You are endorsing hair loss tonic. You are doing weight loss product. You are doing pills that decrease your cholesterol. The entire Shazam lah. Alright, all the health things. Or take this, you will lose 10 kg. Or
Yeah.
this one is a clear no, right?
I think this one is on the level of misinformation already.
Misinformation.
Yeah.
But what if you consume the product and you personally benefited from it? Oh, look at my 72-week weight loss transformation.
But then this is something which is anecdotal, right? Of course, you can share this with your friends, but like if you're really putting this out in a public space, then there has to be some sort of advertising watchdog that comes
Okay,
down.
I go down,
on it,
I kick it a few steps down. I am just going to put on my public socials that I lost weight through 10 weeks transformation, for example. So I show my before and after, and then someone in my DM, slide into my DM, hey, what's your secret to this? You don't even know who's that person. Could be a student, could be a student parents. Are you going to be like, I'm not comfortable sharing? What do you think about that?
Again, as a school teacher, I think that you should be a little bit more careful. Yeah,
Okay.
if you are an MOE teacher, if you're a school teacher, you ought to be a little bit more careful who is texting you,
Okay.
right? Because you can get like there will be like some sort of pushback if
Then
let's say it turns out to
Then
be
why post in the first place?
right.
Don't post, right?
That's why.
But I'm a human, what? I want to celebrate my victory. I have a body transformation.
That's why you put in the private space lah.
But I want to celebrate with the public.
No, then don't celebrate the public lah.
What if
again
my-
you are a public figure. Again, if you're a public figure. And you are a teacher, right? If you're a school teacher, I consider you to be a public figure. If you're a public figure, you don't do certain things.
Okay.
It's just like you're a politician, ma. If you're a politician, you have an affair, then
Okay.
right.
That's a story.
You don't
for,
do certain things,
That's
right?
a story for another day.
Yeah, that's a
right?
story for
That's
another
story
day.
for another day. Okay.
But I mean, this is pushing it to the other extreme, really.
okay.
But yeah, you're a public figure. You cannot do certain things.
Okay. So let's just jump to Tala lah. Don't need to do
Okay.
intermediate.
Okay.
So if anyone did read the news and you don't live under a rock,
Yeah.
alright, of recent times there is a state MOE teacher, alright, that left the force. This one is real, it's not hypothetical. Left the force.
I think I know what you're talking about. It
left
was
the
all over like 8 days and
unless
whatever.
you live under a rock lah. Left the
Yeah.
force and joined a platform that panders to the delivery of adult-based content.
Yes.
I'm trying to be very
Yes.
very like I'm trying to mind my words very carefully. And her reasons for leaving is actually very much related to the whole idea that teachers has sort of like very little avenue to release their stress. Alright, so there's examples of her when she was a teacher. Alright, and this is in public space, it's not some hearsay in some internet forum. So when she went to school, alright, as a teacher, and she wore pink eyeliner. Sorry, eyeshadow, pink eyeshadow. And then she got pauto lah by her colleague lah. So I felt like, my eye, my body, my life, I want to put pink eyeshadow. How is that an issue? All right, there was also instances of her wearing, I think, relatively okay fitting clothes, but the outline of lingerie, all right, her brasserie, all right, was being shown, all right, and then also kena pauto, kena say. Then she felt like, I'm human, what? I wear all this beneath, and it's not like it's a new fact.
I'm showing it publicly out there,
and it's not. I would believe this hasn't been mentioned, but I think that she wasn't intentional in showing the outline of her lingerie. You know, so I felt like in school she was already dealing with this degree of scrutiny, and then now I go out of school, I need an avenue to release something along that line. And I think one of the main kicker, one of the main catalysts for her leaving was that her mother fell ill. All right, then I think that there was also saying that this particular state ex-MOE teacher actually have battling with clinical depression as well. So then eventually she left. Then she joined OnlyFans for that. So now she's not in the force, but she was an ex-MOE teacher. How does that tarnish the entire current fleet of MOE teachers?
No, of course not. Of course not. But I do feel that once again, if let's say you are an MOE teacher, if you are an MOE teacher, you have a certain public persona that you must manage. And if let's say you feel that the public persona, the public code of conduct that you are supposed to put on is too much for you, then I think it was the right decision for her to leave. Right? I mean, if let's say now she becomes an OnlyFans creator, like it's her choice.
Okay, but
right.
I'm fine with that.
If she were doing it while she was an MOE teacher, I think then that would attract a certain degree of.
So you mentioned that we know about all this news because of media, 8 Days, newspaper, whatsoever media. But why was there a need for her to explicitly mention she was an ex-MOE teacher? Why?
Because there's some level of scandal that is associated with it, right?
Yeah. So I can just say that I quit my job.
My previous job.
And become
which
an
was a toxic
creator.
work.
I can say that what? But I quit my previous job and when you read through the article, I'm an ex-MOE teacher.
Because exactly there is a level of scandal that is involved with this. And again, people expect that educators, at least the public persona they portray, to be a very prim and proper one, or at least within a certain band of acceptability lah. Right?
So how clean you want to be? So let's say I'm a politician. I want to be an aspiring politician.
Yes.
Not only must I be mindful of my current behavior,
yes,
I also need to expunge all of my past behavior, right? So let's say
you need to manage what? Of course.
Okay, but the thing is,
it's expected.
When you're
it's expected of you
when you're
as
6
a
years
teacher,
old. Let's say when you're 6 years old, okay? 6 years old, 6 years old. In public, for some reason, someone caught you on camera or video. I don't know why, they just take a picture of you digging a nose booger.
No, but I think
like,
when you're still a minor, people can forgive it.
Okay,
because you don't have agency. But once you become an adult and then you make informed choices for yourself, then I think that's when people will start to judge you. Actually, throughout this entire conversation, right, we didn't ask ourselves one thing,
What? Do we
why is this primary school kid on TikTok in the first place?
Yeah. So they already bypass all the age restriction and everything, right?
Yeah, why are we focusing so much on
when the parents
why are we not pointing the finger back at the parents?
4 finger come back to the parents, right?
Right.
Okay. We will talk about all this age restriction, but I want to ask you this question. So going back to the 6-year-old dig your nose booger enthusiastically, okay, fine. You don't have that mentality at the time. Like, I want to be a politician. So this is an actual example. So there was a teacher, all right, I believe he's still part of the force right now, that got scrutinized, that got cheated for the fact that she was also worried, all right, that she was a figure skater. Then, during figure skater, you want to be streamlined, aerodynamics. You're not going to wear oversized baggy shirt, right? You will wear skin-tight leotards, right? All right. So the nature of the skin-tight leotard is that it accentuates your body shape. And also there's the physical aspect, the streamliners and everything. So she was being caught up, saying that, hey, why you have... And she did not post this. It was just that it was a public event, and the picture, just like your jazz band example, was being captured and placed in magazines and all. Then she said, why is there a need for me to expunge this particular detail? I didn't dress this way for the sake of dressing this way, this is my sport.
But,
It's a
I feel
competitive
that nowadays, I think that this kind of attire should be normalized and parents should be aware of it by now, because nowadays there are so many people, like guys and girls, who go and do yoga.
Of course.
Then
but,
they'll wear like form-fitting sort of clothes, ma.
but this image itself, the penetrance is not to the adult. The penetrance is towards kids. So let's say you are a testosterone-fueled 11-year-old gentleman about to go through.
Then you see your
puberty.
teacher in the
Your
poster.
teacher, yeah.
And for myself as a teacher, right?
Oh.
If let's say this is what I would do. If the if my figure skating instructor wants to put my face over there, I will tell them like, hey, no.
No, but this is your past
not.
before you were a teacher or tutor.
Then I'll tell them to take it down.
You will tell them to take it
I will
out.
tell them to take it down.
But it is your
And myself, and I do this for myself also. Every now and then, right, I will Google my own name to make sure that the things that are online and findable, right, are what I want. What I want the public to see.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, and I think that this is important, and I tell my students to do this also. Every now and then you Google your own name. Then you go and Google, right? Then actually like
Yeah,
they're
their face
all
up.
blocked from like 2010 or 2011, like comes up, and then it's very embarrassing for
But
them.
you do like a hard disk wipe of your persona when you're during the force. So let's say you will eventually leave the force, right? Let's say as a tutor or a teacher, then you can't reclaim.
Privatize lah. Privatize.
But my question here is that I don't know that I want to be a tutor. So
Yes.
now that I am a tutor, I'm a teacher, I need to go back and clean up my digital footprint.
I think that's expected.
Okay.
I personally feel that that's
So shouldn't this be part of the code of conduct?
Yes, if you can be part of the
So
code of conduct,
MOE
it
will
should
come
be.
down and censure your social media. Hey, please.
I think it should be more of a guideline because the code of conduct has always been a guideline, right?
So low cut blouse, sports bra, mini tennis skirt. Quite obviously it infringed and all this. Okay, why don't we talk about something biological? Biological, like it's human. All right. I'm a female. I am expecting a child. I want to document the whole process of my pregnancy. So I'm doing a collage of my baby bump. And with the baby bump itself, I will wear, because I want to show the bum.
Yeah.
So I won't put it over a maternity dress. I will be rolling up at least or wearing like a bra or something like that. And then it shows my baby bump. Can or not? Public.
I personally feel that it's okay. But I understand that parents may not have the same idea lah. But again, this is a public space. As a teacher, you should be aware of the people that you are catering to. And if I were an MOE teacher, I wouldn't make this public. I really even as
A tutor.
even as a tutor, I wouldn't make this public. Right? And pictures of my kids also I post with caution. Pictures of my kids like doing particular thing, like I will also post with caution.
So, the reason why I'm asking you all these examples here is I was having a talk with one of the marketing staff of this that's leading up to this podcast. I was like, if you're a teacher in the 70s or the 80s, you wouldn't have this kind of problem. Why? After school, you go back, what do? You bring your kids to the playground.
Right.
Then
and
you
then there's no social media.
Yeah, I mean, you can take your Kodak camera, take a few film shots and all, then that's it.
Yeah, this is a modern day problem.
It's a first world problem.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you do know that technology is progressive and not regressive, right?
Yes.
And in 20, 30 years' time, do you think that right now we can contain and control, but in 30 years' time, do you think it's time for us to accept and regulate?
Yeah, of course. I think that as a public servant, you should be aware that what you post online can be very, very easily propagated. So just be super duper careful of what goes online. And I tell this to all my students also. Even as a teenager, be very, very careful of what you put as a public on your public account. Right?
So do you think that social media, when a teacher, a tutor, or any public figure sign up, do you think that there should be a clause for them to tick, I am a public figure? And due to that, social media will give you a sort of like a warning prior to you posting. Maybe you can use
I don't
AI
think
lah.
there is. I personally feel that it's not on the social media platforms.
Interest.
Not exactly interest. I don't think it's the owners of the social media platform to do this. I don't think it's their responsibility. I feel that it is the individual's responsibility to do this.
So can I then conclude and say that we are educators, we should be held to a higher standard.
Yes.
We should inherently, maybe we don't start off with that degree of moral filter, but as we go through the spine of our career, our moral filter should be reinforced, improving, and getting a bit more stringent in terms of what's being linked.
I think again, we should cater to the average of our customers. Not just our customers, like the people that we cater to. So if you're an MOE teacher, then of course we should cater to the average of the parents or the students that are out there. So I feel that as mindsets progress, as trends progress, the average will move. The average will move. And I think right now, there may be some parents that will come with pitchfork and knife. They're like, oh, my teacher wore yoga pants, or oh, my teacher wore a tight-fitting army shirt. So there will be parents who say this, but as time goes on, as clothing trends shift, as exercise trends shift, as social media takes a bigger and bigger presence in our lives, I think the conversation will move forward. And I feel that parents will eventually become more accepting of people and teachers in their private capacity.
All right. So for the penultimate portion of our podcast today, I'm going to list out to you a few incidents that has happened. All right, in the course of my life as a student. All right. So let's talk about a teacher's after school, male or female teacher, doesn't matter, and decide to indulge in a cigarette outside of school, far away from school. Let's say your school is in location A, I'm on the other end of the island, and legal age, the teacher is legal age, and I indulge in a cigarette. Can or not? I'm not smoking
in the yellow box,
Yellow box. No, we never draw
okay.
yellow box here. Never draw yellow box here. Yellow box. Can
I think it's okay. I think it's
okay.
I think it's okay.
That's a negative image.
Yeah, but again, you are not posting this on your social media.
No posting. No posting.
And this is in your own
Private
capacity, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
So what if now yourself, you're an MOE teacher, after school you go out with your spouse for a romantic dinner, you're celebrating something, all right? Then as a responsible adult, you will partake in social drinking, all right? Alcoholic beverages, legal age, all right? And your student and the parent just so happen to frequent the restaurant that you're frequenting.
That's okay.
Because?
That's okay because, again, this is your own personal time. This is your own private time, right? And there is no, like, sure, you're out in public, but I think there is no... so the difference here with social media is that when you post things in public, there is the algorithm that will feed to people that you may know already. So there is a distinct difference in posting to social media and just being out in a public space, and then somebody like some Tom, Dick and Harry like runs into you, right? So I think there is a distinct difference.
The minute you want to document, publicize, and distribute, then that's where the filter has to kick in from there.
Yes.
Fair to say
yes. Because if you're out in the public space, you can't share this, and there is no algorithm to share this with other people. It's localized. It's localized within that one occurrence. Versus in social media, where if let's say, oh, I like, then once you like, the algorithm picks it up and then it feeds.
Okay,
other people,
So going to the two scenarios that I give you, if at that moment you recognize whoever that was observing whatever you're doing, will you snap the cigarette and stop the drinking? I'm a student, I will pass, hey, teacher. Then we're like, oh.
I feel that drinking is more socially acceptable. I feel that drinking is more socially acceptable, but I'm not too sure about cigarette.
Will
I
you have snubbed the cigarette when your student came up to you?
I don't smoke myself, but I feel like I will have some element of paisiness.
Or your paise?
Yeah, I feel I will have some element of like, hey, please don't look at me.
No, but what if you are
maybe I was snub the cigarette.
You're snubbed.
Yeah.
But what if now you're in a public space like a bus stop and you're drinking a can of kitty beer? I'm not going to say the actual animal, a kitty beer.
Yeah.
Then how? Are you going to chuck the can into the bin?
Again,
No, not restaurant.
like I said, it's still a public space, right? I feel that it's still okay. Yeah, I feel that it's still okay. I mean, like what I said, and drinking is more socially, like I said, drinking is more socially acceptable, and at the same time, it is different from posting on your social media.
Okay.
Right.
So long that this is not being done in a social media setting, good to go.
I will not say that.
Okay.
I will not say that, but I think it depends on the circumstance. But I think for the two scenarios that you had outlined, I feel that the person who is not in the wrong here is the teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can. So, we can go to the ends of the world really to talk about all the examples that we can think of. I think personally as a student, you might have seen things that you should not see. All right, but at that time, at our age, we don't have a platform to air our displeasure.
Yeah.
So I think people are generally more woke. People have more avenues to communicate, and that will also inevitably tell us that our moral filter has tightened a lot more as an educator. So to the general listeners or viewers, if are watching us from YouTube, I do understand that everyone is a human at the end of the day, lah. All right, you have your own personality, and I often tell my student I have a work personality, I have a personal personality, but I don't let both of this. It's like 井水不犯河水 lah. You can understand the Chinese?
No, cannot.
Oh, cannot. The water in the well and the water in the river, they won't mix. They won't mix. All right, you have a very clear filter over there.
Yes.
Yep. But the difficulty here is to make sure that the filter is kept. And the line is kept very, very demarcated. You really don't mix them together. And I feel that, not quoting Peter Parker or Spider-Man, but if you have the calling of helping and educating, I think that this has to be upheld with a greater degree of responsibility.
And scrutiny as well.
Yeah. And I feel that it is a privilege to be able to educate young minds. So we have to be much more careful of our actions. But I also do not condone the fact that teachers are drones and robots whereby they do A to B, teach, come home, sleep, teach, come home, sleep. Because I think that your task force is only as able to perform as how mentally refreshed they are at the end of every day itself from there. So I think there will be stricter guidelines coming out. But no matter how strict the guidelines are, it's always open for human interpretation. And just like, the penal code and all the law and everything, how a layman will interpret should be how you should be interpreting it from there.
I personally feel that there are always two sides to the coin. Of course, us as the teachers, we can manage our own image, but the responsibility shouldn't be solely on the teacher. The responsibility should be on parents to recognize and provide a little bit more sympathy for the teacher as well. And as well as managing their kids' social media consumption as well.
It's quite a multi.
It's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing, right? I think as the debate continues and as mindsets tend to shift, I do feel that we will eventually head to some sort of equilibrium, but we're not there yet, lah.
Long from there, yet, lah. So we got to end this off. So do you think today's topic is tak cek or big cek?
Wow, I feel that today's topic is very, very, very big cek.
Got the tala feel, no?
Yes, got the tala feel. I really just now you over there you grill me, right? Grill. Wow. Very, very difficult for me to think on the spot. Okay. I'm not a think on the spot kind of person.
Okay.
Unfortunately. And I feel that there is a very, very large grey area of what a teacher should be posting and what they shouldn't be posting. And it really depends on who your audience is as well, what your parents are like. And it takes yourself to understand the parents, the teachers, or sometimes if you're a teacher, you may know the student but you don't know the parent. So for me, if I from the teacher's perspective, I would feel that this is very basic.
Very basic.
Yeah.
Myself, I am definitely on the basic camp today.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Very basic, because I mean, if I am not a tutor, so I'm
Yes.
doing this podcast as someone else that's not a tutor, I feel that is basic only in the educating years of my child. So once my child is out of the education system, I don't really care. Like you want to go and contact your teacher as an ex-student, you want to be friends, that's your prerogative. Right? But as a tutor, as someone that's in this industry, I think that we manage multiple sources of worries. I worry about, am I teaching the right thing? I'm worried, am I delivering the right kind of content to my students?
Yeah.
Then now I have to also worry about the image that I uphold on the outside. And there is often a conflict, all right? I want to share with everyone my personal joys. I'm a human after all. I have all my emotions and everything. But yet I have to keep them under wraps and filter before I deliver out to the social media platform, or don't even deliver. Right? But I think that this is a topic that should not be avoided. Because once it goes underground, it cannot be regulated. Then that's where I think it becomes a more festering problem from there. Right, so to our listeners, if you are a parent with a student, and we will be very humbled if you're an educator as well and you're listening to this, to drop us your comments, all right, to share with us the contents that was being mentioned today. How do you feel about it? Is there any personal events that is very close to your heart that we can add some value and we can talk about it from there? All right, thank you.